Hey, this is Jim. I apologize. I got to start working on the gauges again. I just got back out of the hospital. Damn leg infection won't go away and stay gone, but now that I'm back out of the hospital, you know, this is part of my income, so unfortunately customer cars come before my stuff, and I will get back on the gauges. Year of the ball joint. This is a 1998 Lexus. Got to do lower ball joints in it. I've done more ball joints this year than I've done in the last 20 years combined. Just year of the ball joints. But so let me get this jacked up. Customer complaint is it chewed up one tire. So he took it to a tire shop that does alignments, and it needs ball joints. Well, I'm not going to say ball joints won't chew up a tire, but then his second complaint is when he's driving, it wanders. So they're not super hard to do ball joints in here, so I quoted him a price, and he's like, wow, that's way cheaper than they wanted if it is the ball joints. You know, these things here, let me grab one. They're super easy to do. What? Don't let me not say they're super easy, but they're not 100% complicated. This is the lower ball joint. You got 3 screws. There is a possibility if these are stock, they could be riveted in which case we'll just grind the rivets out, remove it, but that's all there is to the ball joint. I mean, it's not super complicated. If they're riveted in, it will add a little bit of time to the repair, but I'm not going to worry about charging more. I've shot them a fair price. If I got to grind them out, that's no big deal. But we're going to check everything, so let me shut this off, get on a tripod, we'll get this jacked up, and let's start looking underneath here, see what we got. Alright, one of the very first issues I see before I even start on anything, that tire is half flat. This one was half flat till I started jacking it up. Now it went way down. So first, who knows, maybe I'll pick up another, I've done some work for them, maybe I'll pick up another regular service vehicle, you know, but come on people, if you, even a quick change oil bay should be checking tire pressures. And they're too busy. Oh, you need an air filter, you need this, you need this, you need that, and they're not doing what they should be doing to start with. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do all 4 tires, get them aired up properly. Got the compressor going. As soon as I get the pressure, we'll check the tires. That's the first thing, because if this car's all over the road trying to drive it, well, right there's part of the issue. That might take care of the back end. We just got to check the front end, see what's going on up there. So all right, that's step 1. I'll be back with you when we get underneath up front. You know, I'm really getting tired. Not the customer's fault, but the impact will not remove the tire. I'm resorting to a breaker bar. People, when they over torque your tire like that, it is a federal law they have to adhere to torque. When they over torque them like that, you take it back to them and you tell them you are replacing all the wheel studs, because it stretches them and then they start breaking when you try taking them off. Hopefully none break. We will see. But that is a law they have to adhere. They have to torque it on with a torque wrench, not just put a gun on there and so I would, just so you guys are aware, start taking your car back to them and telling them you are replacing the studs. And if they have to replace the whole unit bearing because of it or something, because you can't get the stud in, which many you can't, then they need to buy the unit bearing. But this is getting ridiculous on these damn tire shops. And sad part is, this came right from a tire shop to me. So, I don't know. Anyway, back to it. Alright, well, I went and got the breaker bar. That does not sound good. There's a lot of play going on here. They're saying it's the lower ball joint. Okay. All right, well, I gotta get the tire off because can't quite tell, but it's kind of dark. I'm gonna have to run a light out here. Can't tell if it's that lower ball joint or what, so let me I gotta get this tire off and get a light out here. All right, gonna have to I guess I'll have to film the other side. Being cold out here, it's killing my damn batteries, and I didn't realize camera was off. Lower ball joint's in. I just gotta put the cotter key in. I will let the customer know on his half shaft that inner boot is fried. So it is exposed to the weather. It should look more like this, where the boot's sealed with the clamp. And then the boot's just split open. So we'll let the customer know. The shaft, it's got a little bit of in and out play, but that isn't really bad, but it's tight this way. So this might be able to just come out and put new boots on it and re-grease it. Other than that, that's the lower ball joint, so this side's done. I gotta get the cotter key put in quick. I just got it lined up. So we'll get the cotter key in there. The ones I got are greasable. So, gotta love laying in snow and all that. So let's put some grease in there. See, the boat's starting to swell now. That's enough grease. You don't have to do it till it starts oozing and squeezing out everywhere. That just isn't necessary. That just splits the boots. Alright, we got tire off on this side. Same thing. You can see this boot totally, the whole end split off. Shaft's tight, a little bit of in and out, which is to be expected, but the boot shaft is totally gone. This one is still intact. Surprisingly, on both sides, this is good, but the inner ones are totally failed. So, all right, let's get this taken apart. How we're gonna test this, we didn't really cover. I guess we should. Just take your pry bar, and it's a matter of feeling. Sometimes movement will be noticeable, sometimes it won't. The other side we had movement. I got the pry bar right there. Don't really see any movement, but we'll put a finger right there. See, this one ain't that bad. I'm not gonna say there's no movement, but yeah, there's a little bit of movement. I can feel it with my finger, but you can't see it. But if I put my finger right here whilst prying, I can feel a little bit. And it's the same thing with all your bushings, you know. You're just gonna take your pry bar. See that bushing right there? Now that's nice and tight. Let's check this bushing over here. That ain't so good. You should have a little bit of movement here. That's more than a little bit. That's lower A-arm inner bushings. So we'll let the customer know on that. Same thing with your tie rod ends. You're just gonna kind of find some place to pry. Stay away from that ABS wire. See, now that's nice and tight. That's tight up in there. So our tie rod ends are good. A little bit of movement there, but there is movement in that bushing. So I just advise customers, that's on them on what they want to do. So I'm gonna get this cotter pin out, and all we really got to do, these aren't super complicated, it's just farting around. You got to get that cotter out and get this nut off. Then this is a bolt, this is the bolt, this is the nut, this is the nut. Drop those, and then you just pry it out, and you got to pry down on this A-arm and then get the ball joint knocked loose. The other one, I actually took the grinder and it just would not come loose. I could not get that cotter pin out. I tried driving it out, and that I just took the grinder, pressed this down and grinded, cut the head off of it, and then put a pickle fork in here and removed it. So we'll show that. I'll get set up and start taking this apart, and we'll show. All right, we got the two nuts off. Now all we gotta do is take the bolt. All right, that now that undoes that. Now all we gotta do is undo this nut up here and then take the pickle fork, and that will pop this joint out. This is all we're replacing, is this little piece right here. Not super complicated. You will need some 1/2-inch drive tools. You will need a pickle fork, pry bar for testing, see what your issue is, and a couple wrenches and that. So not super complicated. So let me get that pin out and we'll get that nut off. Now that this is off, there's another. You can tell the ball joint is definitely bad. Even though we couldn't feel or see no movement, we could only feel. You should not be able to turn it and move it like this. So that's where we're at. These cotter pins, they can be a son of a gun. And this side looks like it's gonna fight me, just like the other side did. Got it straightened, but she just does not want to come out. This is why I ended up having to cut the other side off, because I just couldn't get that cotter pin to break, come out. Before I fiddle fart around too much, I've just cut this side off too. I'm not gonna waste as much time trying to get it out like I did the other side. I don't want to be here all night, all day and all night, because I might have another job to do. Lady, pull this down like I did the other side, cut it off, and be done. That way there's no sense fiddle farting with it. All right, you don't have to cut it all the way through. You just gotta get a nice groove in it. Then you can put a chisel in there and get it to snap off, and then take the chisel and undo that last little collar right there. Battery, and I'm gonna finish getting this out first. So this is just slowly turning that to get the last piece of the little nut off right there. That's all we're doing. So all right, that's all you do. Chisel that, got the last of that little nut off. No, I grabbed the wrong pick. Did I? I don't know if I grabbed the right pickle for it, but we'll see. There it is, lower ball joint. All right, I'm gonna go grab the other one and we'll get that put in. All right, this is the hole where your cotter pin goes through into your castle nut. So we're gonna put that right about there. Then we're gonna suck it up some and we'll turn the joint. That way the cotter pin goes in front to back and not side to side. Okay, this is a different size. I gotta go get a different wrench. Be right back. All right, we still got to tighten that more, but we're going to start getting these in. Okay. Gotta turn it just a touch more. So much fun trying to do this in the cold. Get it as straight as you can. This will pivot here and line itself up. Yeah, man. It all the way. Let's go ahead and get all these started. All right, that one don't want to start yet. We can get this one. Okay, start. There we go. If I could just hold it that way, though. All right, I'm gonna have to tighten this down and push it in. All right, it's on. It's greased. I had to loosen this nut. Got it on. Or, I'm sorry, I gotta grease it, but it's on, it's done.